guys? It's Tartan coming at you with another game of Minecraft. We're gonna plant wheat. The splash screen is different now, I guess. Oh yeah, it's 1.21.4 now. And I think the world will just automatically change over when I load in. Although, I would imagine it would need to be in a place that I hadn't gone yet. So I've got a stack of buckets here. So when you're doing mass irrigation, the theory is that you just want like a lot of buckets at a time, right? I only have like 20, but it's a fine amount. And you might want dirt, but you won't want a hoe in there, and you want slabs. You could have something else like a pickaxe or whatever, but it's easy enough to just avoid that and just punch down a thing. So first we'll just decide where to go up, which we'll probably do like right here. And as long as there's a little bit of separation, it all comes in clean. If they're right next to each other, then, you know, obviously the sourcing of the blocks will be a little trickier. And we put that down wrong. It's all right. It's faster to... It's probably not. It's faster in my head to just do it wrong. Hello, Angela. I am going just fine. I'm finally done with my week at work. I met expectations just like I always do, and I am excited to be doing this now. Alright, we're just going to... Yeah, because we need a leg up right here. We can go... It would be better if we could run up it in a straight line, because as you see, it's actually kind of difficult to find where the pathway is now that I've lost it. Well, you know, it's okay, because we could just make more walkways, and I'm sure we'll find the original ones before too long. Where were they at? Over here? They were over here. That's a good place for them. I guess I could just do that, and that works too. So if I place it lower, because the water will still be underneath it, irrigating it, although that's not as important as just having a place to be able to walk through. This is fun, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it'll be even more fun to be able to walk through my field without bashing it in a straight line. And that's the sort of thing that I'm going to have to do here. Though it pains me to be responsible. In a straight line, in a roughly straight line. Hey, Sid. It is going well. I failed, like, super hard in Terraria this morning. People are telling me the game's not over. My friend at work was telling me, and like in chat I was looking, and Natasha said it's not over, but I feel like I lost. I'm not gonna like quit. I'm still having a good time. I just yeah, and so we've got some irrigation here already, but because really just having slabs to run through. Alright, yeah, we'll do it that way. Because, as we know, like, I do rather enjoy my cinematic runs through. And I do dislike you know, tromping all over my own crops. So having a proper walkway would be nice. So that's what we're working on today. And then, you know, after doing it for a little bit, we will get back to the wheat related programming, because I mean this is very important. This is wheat related. I'm like, wait, no, yeah, because we're just going to yeah, no, all right, why can I not think of what I have to do here? All right, so we have to break this one. We're going to need to we're going to need either stairs or to change what we're doing on this slope. But yeah, that's the problem. I'm just using slabs where stairs are called for, but we can yeah, it's all right. The walkway's fine. We'll just do a little bit of normal irrigation and then get back to wheat. We'll work on that later. I'll get some stairs eventually. Here it is important that the slab be at the top side of it, because otherwise you dip down a little bit when you run, and that's obviously not very aesthetic. And sometimes you have to knock the wheat down in order to make that happen. That's okay. That's all for art. You know, it's okay when that's why you have to do it. And this is like not an entirely irrigated field, but some will be nice. And just getting a couple of steps down will be good. All right. Oh, I can pause the invasion temporarily by doing that stuff. All right. Yeah, it was. I just kept getting so sad. I could have been fine if it was just me. I would have happily died like 1,000 times away from my village. But you know, they said my dog left, but we all know what happened. We absolutely all know what happened. It's a tragedy. It was terrible. But we've got our buckets there, and we're just going to run. We'll probably keep like a couple buckets and a couple bunches of slabs, but we'll run back in a bit. There's no point in running back right now for more seeds when we're already where we need to be at the reaches of the wheat field here. I don't think that the lava burns wheat up. This will be a thing we can test. I think it would probably burn a hay bale. Speaking of, it's going to be a totally awesome and absolutely not the first person who has done this idea thing. But when I finally make the Temple of Wheat and the wheat field gets all the way there, I'm also wanting to make a massive wheat sculpture and then burn it all down. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm sure someone's already done this. I haven't looked it up, but I'm sure it's already been done. I haven't looked it up because I don't want to know all of the jokes they make. I want to make them independently and see how derivative I am. Yeah, see, you think the takeaway is that I should upgrade my gear, but my real takeaway is that I need to make the place where they live just like significantly harder for anybody to get into. The Temple of Wheat. Oh yes, that's what the objective is. It doesn't exist yet. It's probably gonna be like a very typical sort of like a Parthenon structure, but the Temple of Wheat, we'll just fly so we can see where it's going to be. The Temple of Wheat, we're going to build it on top of this. So the wheat field that, you know, is barely visible here, that's going to be stretching all across this entire savanna biome and then we'll have a river, and then the wheat all here, and then probably like a ton of various flowers on the side. I haven't decided. And then at the top, we've already cleared it some time ago, so you see that we've got a chest there. This would have been like months ago when I cleared it. I was like, I'll come here and build something. I never came back, but we're gonna build it there, and then I think we're gonna build like a massive wheat sculpture guy there, and then burn it down. But it's gonna be a while away. But that's the idea. Because as you see, we have many hundreds of blocks of wheat to plant before we ever need to worry about going over there. Or maybe I'll build the temple in secret, and as we get closer, it will emerge from the clouds. But after I learned how to make bread, it was only a matter of time to when I would find a video game where I could plant a lot of wheat. There's this internet video, I forget who did it, so I'm being very useless in speaking of it, but it was some food or maybe like historical food person on YouTube, but anyway, they were not not one of the famous ones, at least it wasn't like Townsend's, if anybody's familiar. If you're not, you should check out Townsend's. It's just wonderful if you care about food and history of food. But anyway, I digress. There's a whole new religion called the Wheatism. But he was like, I'm gonna make this bread from scratch. I'm gonna do all this stuff, complete with like grinding the wheat and or growing it, grinding it out, separating the chaff. Like throwing it around in this like driveway to thresh it, like doing all traditional methods. And then at the end, it was like, a huge amount of time. And he was like, this was a bad idea. I should have bought flour at the store, which was a good message for the video. But I don't remember who it was that did it. Townsend's would never. Townsend's would be like, and this is why you're supposed to grind wheat. But I really like the Townsend's videos, actually. If you're not familiar, I'm probably going to keep on talking for him for a couple minutes anyway now. But that's actually why I started baking in large degree. I don't remember what the impetus was, but I was talking about some historical food preparation. It's this like poem I was going to write and never wrote. Yeah, about Timoleon. I remember now. It was this epic poem I was going to write about Timoleon that I never did. And I needed a character to be really good at baking bread for the poem, and that made me need to learn about the methods, and then the internet wanted to give me videos about it. And then ultimately, I did not write the poem, but I did start baking bread, so, fortuitous. But Townsend's does these wonderful videos where he takes like recipes from like the 1700s, and he lives on, I think he lives there. He, as his profession, he's always dressed up like a person in like the 1700s, and they do historical food preparation methods, and like he has the old timey recipes, and he's in like a reproduction cabin, eating the boiled puddings or whatever. But anyway, he's not like obscure. I think he's fairly YouTube famous. But if you're interested at all in the history of like North American cuisine or anything like that, you should definitely check out his channel. Your family runs a bakery? Oh, that's so cool. My mother like baked bread a bunch whenever I was a child, but she had like a bread maker that did most of the stuff there. And since you're a newer viewer, you may not know, I make very wonderful chocolate chip cookies, but I do make bread in the French style by hand, and I also make like cheesecakes and stuff like that. But I haven't been baking very long. As you may imagine from having witnessed the wheat field, I sort of tend towards obsession. So like my chocolate chip cookies, I have made hundreds of batches of in the last year and 9 months since I started cooking. So I tend to develop a, a large amount of expertise towards things that I spend time on. I flatter myself that the cookies are very good. But I'm a cook for a living, but it's not like it was never a thing that I was interested in. I don't I would say I don't like care about food very much. Like in general, it's not a thing that I had been like interested in for my whole life, particularly. Like I ate it. I don't have a really good sense of smell. My nose has been broken several times, and I have what's called a deviated septum. So like on the inside, it's like all squiggly, and then I have allergies. It gets inflamed, and so like there's a lot of the experiences of food that other people have to a much greater degree than me. So I'm like, I don't see the big idea, but I've become more interested in the history of it and that kind of thing. And then there's another channel that's also pretty major called Tasting History with Max Miller, and he does these wonderful things. He did one that was like the breakfast the last day on the Titanic, which I mean, like, what a cool hook for a video, right? Um, and in it they had these baked apples, pomme bon femme, in the French stylings from the Escoffier cookbook, which is basically just you core out apples, right, and then you whip together like some butter and like brown sugar and cinnamon or whatever, and then you shove it in the middle of where you cored it out, like you get all the seeds out and stuff, and then you just bake it with some water underneath it for like 25 minutes, and you cut a little slit right in the middle, such that so the skin can expand, and they're so like wonderful and soft and amazing, and anyway, I had never like seen them before, not that I know about, and they're really easy to make and a wonderful thing to have for breakfast or any time of day. They're called like pomme bon femme. They're like ladies apples or whatever, but it's what Escoffier called them. Escoffier is this dude who made a cookbook once upon a time. It's a very influential one in historical circles. I don't own a copy of it, but I do have a PDF that I look at sometimes. Angelo, you say you're from Brazil. You don't know much of a cookie culture, but your mom makes wonderful cakes. That's great. Yeah. You know, it is interesting how different places, even with access to the same like materials, develop different preferences for sweets, especially, because there's widely different cultural expectations for that. Chocolate chip cookies, I love very much. I'm proud of mine. They are American. Um, uh, we invented them here. Although a lot of people just like because most people don't think about the history of stuff. So remember when I was learning about it, I'm like, oh, did you know this woman in America invented the chocolate chip cookie? And most people were like, I literally don't care. Did you say you had a cookie? Give me the cookie. Do I have any seeds? Oh no, I'm gonna have to go and get seeds. This is terrible. It's not terrible, it's fine. That's what it's all about. Sometimes you have to get seeds. Of course, the best place to get seeds is anywhere. We can just get them right here, right? Yeah, because I irrigated this space, so we won't have... We'll be able to use this wheat field now. Finally. Now, most of the time I would stop running forward before all of this, but this wheat field is actually like, designed. So we'll just have to, I think it's all irrigated too, so we'll just have one wheat seed in one hand and then one in the other. It is, Sid. There's so many fun facts about the cookie. The woman who invented them, you'll know the brand Nestle Toll House. The Toll House is named for like it was like an. If the thing that blew my mind was I had always thought that chocolate chip cookies were very old. If I mean not like 2,000 years old, but like a couple hundred years old. But they are not. Like they were made in the 1900s. Like I want to say like my grandmother was born before chocolate chip cookies were invented. So like if you knew any people, they'd be like 100 now. But if they were like super amped about chocolate chip cookies, like they would have been like the crazy amazing invention of their youth. That kind of thing. Like when the last Queen of England, before she, like when she was a little girl, she couldn't have had chocolate chip cookies. Nobody had them yet. Stuff like that. And that's really fascinating to me about food. And I don't know why. I think it's just because, it makes it more of a romantic story, like, which is what other people have always seen in food, the cultural experiences of it. But I have a problem where if I don't already care about something, I'm not going to start noticing how to, probably. But then I might eventually just be like, hey, you know what? Food is an interesting way to think about culture and history, things that I do care about thinking about. I'm going to learn. But, it would have been like 1,000 people that had said those exact words to me, and I just ignore it every time. Not for the first time, I relate to you that I'm a very frustrating person to know. I believe it was Louis Armstrong that said there's some people that if they don't know, you can't tell them. And he meant it to be like a damning character assessment. But I remember being a child and reading that, and I'd be like, hey, Louis talking about me. Oh no, I need to be mining with the hoe. That's very important, actually. I messed up not doing that. You get, with fortune on the hoe, you get more than twice as many seeds as normal. Thank you, Angelo. I'm glad you think I'm funny. I often think I'm funny. Other people do not always agree, but it's it's enough for me to think I'm funny, and I'm glad that you think I'm funny too. One thing that's hard for me on this channel is sometimes like something funny will happen in my real life, like at work or whatever, and I'll want to relate it here, but sometimes people that I know from work watch this, and so like I don't want to make other people's lives into my content, right? But I'm gonna do that now, because tonight at work, this young man, I I don't remember how the conversation started because it doesn't matter, but it came up that he thought that if like a pigeon ate rice, then it would explode, which is objectively the starting off point for a delightful series of events. And I just so that was the funny thing today. And I'm not gonna like belabor it because he it was a learning experience, but it just goes to show how interesting, like, an interesting story and anecdote can travel so far. But I did rag on him a little bit, not excessively, only a little bit, a respectable amount. I'm not going to rag on him here, but I did want to tell you guys that because I think it's pretty funny, and I just wanted to share. Full inventory, full inventory. All right, so we need to, we'll just go here real quick and put the seeds up. Because we need to mend the hose, so we'll just run home real quick. I've probably got, you know, a boat somewhere. Probably. Do I have more seeds here? I do. We'll pick them up later. Ah, yes, the sword. We will want the sword. Because there's like way too many cows right now. I don't know how many. 1,300 or 1,400, right? Angelo, you ask, playing with feminine characters is a preference or coincidence? A preference. I almost always choose female characters in video games. Always have. Unless it's like the old days of World of Warcraft, where the only way to get a beard on a dwarf was to make them a male dwarf, which is ignorant. Because as all people know, the female dwarves have luxurious beards as well, and it's an important thing. But yeah, no, it's just always the way that I've organized my RPG stories and stuff. It's more interesting, like Greek myths and stuff. I always thought like Artemis was more interesting than all of the other gods were. Like that kind of thing. Those were just some of the stories that spoke most to me. My favorite video game is Final Fantasy VI, and my favorite character in that is a lady. Her name is Celis, and then another, like my second favorite character, Terra, who's like the other like main character. It's another female character. But yeah, just basically any game is gonna be what I pick if they just, you know, let me choose a character. Every character I've ever made in Baldur's Gate, out of like the 20 I made, has always been a lady, that kind of thing. The cows are getting out. How many are there? There are 1,300 or so cows. That's too many. It actually should not take very long at all for us to get the home ended up, because you get a lot of experience for killing these things. And then we're just going to put the leather or whatever. Because I have just like all this leather and beef in random chests. I don't want to throw it away. As you'll recall, I do have like 7,000 bookshelves for whenever I get onto that project, but... Did the cows double since last time? Yes, so I left all my like armor and swords and stuff in the chest in the middle of the field, so I would come back and, you know, I didn't want to hit them with a sword that didn't have looting. Oh yeah, Angela, this is my field where I mend my tools. This is like where spawn is, but I don't spend very much time here and never have. But this is, I have like another village out on the other side of the wheat field where I like kind of live, but not really. This world's a weird place. I don't play in it very much, except to plant things. It was like my first world, but once I started playing hardcore, I played here less and less over time. But I have, you know, like thousands of emeralds in some chest. I've only been playing Minecraft like 6 months, but like I said, and you can witness, I tend to I tend towards obsession in some regards, but some people have suggested all sorts of ways to, oh, I actually didn't mend the hoe up the whole way. That's fine. It'll be okay. They've suggested ways to, do whatever experience farms, and I'm just like, well, if you have 1,000 cows, you can just breed up 400 more casually, and then you could, hit 200 of them. And they look at me like they didn't know they could do that. And I guess some people's computers can't. Mike's a very beefy, strong boy. I bought it, and basically the first game that I played when it came in June was Minecraft. It was one of the first things I did with it, and I never played Minecraft before, and the rest is current events. But we might as well get some more seeds here. This will get us we'll have a good foundation for when we want to get further out there, because, well, there's about to be a huge amount of open space on the savannas, and that's going to be a really efficient way to farm, because all this verticality all around here really makes it difficult. I mean, not difficult. It makes it slightly slower. Because this place is only flat because, well, I terraformed it before I decided that was a waste of time. And it was. Not a waste of time, a spending of time. And of course, it gets us these wonderful flat rows here where we can get more of our seeds laid down. Very important stuff. Because I had been using my original wheat field, which isn't great because it's so far away from this segment of the wheat field that it won't grow while we're here. I know, an embarrassment of riches. It's a terrible tragedy that some of my wheat can't grow because I'm so far away from it in my massive field. But, I'll have to soldier onward. I'll have to be brave. I'll have to keep on planting wheat. That's the only thing. It's the only thing that'll make the world a better place. Yeah, there's also, I have like 1,000 chickens or so on the island, and there's like a bunch of pigs, but not like that many, like 100 or something. Like, an embarrassingly small amount. Mostly wheat, exactly. Sometimes you gotta mend your tools, sometimes you gotta walk back and forth, but everything else is mostly wheat. Sometimes you gotta go to sleep on top of a wheat field. That's still exactly wheat related. You don't really have to, do anything there. Maybe I should make another wheat video. I know these are wheat videos, but these are streams. I need to make another punchy 3-minute wheat video where I talk about the virtues of wheat. Update the people. No, I don't know. It's been like more than a month since I've put up like a proper video on YouTube. Basically, once I got into doing the streaming, it was just simpler for me to do this. But I've been doing like an update every month or so, and it's been like a month and a half, so maybe it would be good to get another one. But I need to get the pathway done so, we could walk through it. Oh, it'd be so wonderful. I can't imagine the joy that a new viewer would have as they walk through the fields of mostly wheat for the first time. Thank you for the well wishes there. You know, maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. You know, it's not what it's about. I think everybody that makes videos dreams about being successful, but I'm just happy to be doing this. And I'm glad you find it satisfying. That's really, like, I have always liked playing video games and talking to myself and, you know, like, people in the room with me or whatever. And it's a lot more fun than talking to myself without recording it or putting it out into the world. It's sort of funny how just, like, even with no one watching, just the idea that somebody could makes all of this have, like, nourishing is what you said for you, but it is for me too. It's a very like socially nourishing enterprise, because it's me saying, hey, I'm gonna at least put something of myself out there for everyone, right? And I mean, it doesn't make you brave to make a video on YouTube, right? But in my real life, I am somewhat more guarded about my thought processes most of the time. So in a way, it's quite freeing and liberating for me to just sort of stream of consciousness and discover that I kind of like the things that I say. Whereas whenever I'm, like, physically around people, I often get so caught up in my anxieties that I don't feel like I articulate myself particularly well unless I'm, like, talking about, you know, facts that I understand properly or something, you know. But I can very rarely effectively talk about the way I feel if other people are around, even if it's the way I feel about a video game. But anyway, enough of that. Because the really important thing is not the way that I feel, unless the way is satisfied with how much wheat I have. And it's not. It's not enough wheat. You can tell that it's getting there. But we have got so far to go, like the Alkaline Trio song says. It's not about planting wheat. Oh my god, the little stair steps are so effective. I need to put torches on them. I'm not carrying any. So we'll just go around. And then this is probably where I gave up. Yeah, sounds right. You actually watched the 6 hours of that Terraria stream? Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you found it enjoyable. I'm glad you like the steps too, Sid. I really like the acacia wood. The orange, it offsets the colors of, you know, the grass and the sky and the wheat so beautifully. That's definitely the wood for the steps. Every time I see, like, an oak one or even, like, birch, I'm just like, this is so insufficient. It needs to be more of a contrast. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Play Terraria some. I think I have to run, like, one errand, so I should be able to play, like, a bunch of video games. But I was actually thinking of going into the hardcore world again. And trying to do a couple things. 'Cause I was thinking about... I don't want to get all upset. I was thinking about the tragedy of the Mooshes, and, you know, maybe they've reincarnated now, and we can just take a long trip over there and see if we can bring them home to Doug. Oh, I feel so bad even saying it. Oh, I'm such a bad person. I can't believe all that happened. Anyway, it's fine. They're probably better now, and I'm sure they've forgiven me. Well, yes, it's what my hardcore content on Minecraft. It's basically the bulk of what I recorded in the last 3 months, I guess, is when I would have started playing hardcore, and I just, yep, I died several times, but in my current world, I have lived for like about 300 Minecraft days. But yeah, I had this canal. I have these. Like, there's a lot of lore going on here, but so Sid's here actually. Sid had some amazing fan art of one of the mooshes, but we had some beloved members of our crime family there, and I was bringing them home on this canal that I made, but because of the way they stand up in the boats, and like my canal, I didn't understand the mechanics of it. So while I could safely pass through, somebody taller, say, wouldn't be able to, and it was a terrible thing. Not least that I spent like hours and hours building this canal in the first place, like a long time. It was thousands of blocks, not like 10,000, but like 3,000. And, of course, the canal's still there. But maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we'll fly out and check and see if they have reincarnated. So you can spend like areas like this right here. You spend so long and you only get like 20 things down blockwise, and then as soon as we get to the other side of this and we get all those flat spaces, we're going to be running through like 10 times as many seeds per second. SPS is seeds per second. That's the most important metric. Don't think that I'm not tracking it. I'm not tracking it. I was only joking. I wish I did. I wish I knew how efficient I was being, so I could be like, these are rookie numbers. You gotta get these numbers way up. There's nothing like a reference to really make your wheat farming kick into higher gear. What should the final wheat video be ever called? Wheat of Dreams? Yeah, that would be it. Wheat of Dreams. Or if you wheat it, will they come? You know, there's a lot of wheat-related puns that can be done. Would I plant rice if available in Minecraft? I mean, maybe. I should say, like, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm not into wheat specifically, like, in real life. I'm not, like, obsessed with it or even particularly interested in it compared to other cereal crops or whatever. Like, there's a lot of good ones out there. And rice is super excellent. I do love rice. I would probably do some, if only for like the wonderful aesthetic, because like I think rice fields are very beautiful. There's lots of different ways to grow rice. You know, you have sort of like terraced hillside ones, which are like the gold standard in gorgeous rice fields, in my opinion. But I live in Arkansas, a state in the southeastern central United States. Most people don't know where it is. There's not a lot of people that live here. But we actually grow a ton of rice, like a huge amount of rice and soybeans. And so like where I grew up, uh, on my way to like go to school, it was away from the rice fields, but going to where my family went to church whenever I was a kid and stuff, we would drive by just vast expanses of rice and soybean fields, and I think they are very beautiful, even if they spawn mosquitoes like nobody's business. There's something about just like gazing out at like from the road to the horizon with like rolling levees and just like the beautiful green shoots of rice going as far as your eye can see. It's really nice stuff. I think I think most farming, as long as it's not done in some sketchy kind of way, is quite pleasant. I like you know it makes me sound like a weird old person, but like the sight of a well-tilled field and like land that's bearing forth lots of fruits and grains, it does my heart well. If I ever go to somebody's house and they have like an apple tree, I instantly feel like a massive amount of affection for them. We had an apple tree in our front yard whenever I was a child. Uh, but just like in general, like I like it when people grow their own food. I know a lot of people, you don't always have the circumstances where you can, but it's it's a nice thing. And just like aesthetically too, it's very nice. I would rather, see somebody growing some tomatoes than like walk past flowers, for example. 'Cause, like, as we're talking about the Temple of Wheat, because like, food is something like at once both very like primal and animalistic, but it's also like something sacred, right? It characterizes like all of the most important moments in life tend to that are shared with others tend to be food associated, like big events, uh, milestones. Like there's a lot of mystical importance placed on it. Like I remember quite well, like many times, like growing up, like I would be doing something with my dad, like one time we got paid to like tear the roof off of some building that they were demolishing, and like they wanted to keep the timbers on the inside, so we're doing all of that. And then we go home and I was beat, it was a hard day, I was like 12 or whatever, and then like dad like cooks a couple of steaks and gives me a root beer, and just like that without him articulating it, it was him being like, this is, the reward for doing a man's day of work type of thing. And a really nice times, all of that. I didn't always get along with my dad very well, but there were plenty of times where I did. Where I do. He's still around. Not here, he's off doing his own thing. He's got his own house. He used to live in this house, but he no longer does. But it's funny the things you remember. I'm 38 years old. I do not mind you asking. I seem very young because playing video games all the time makes you youthful. They don't tell you that in the schools. They don't tell you that it's going to keep you young forever, but it will. Your mileage may vary. Oh, thank you. You know, but I think the mustache, if I ever really make it, you know, in show business, if I ever headline my own Vegas magic trick emporium or whatever, I'm not really a magician. I just thought that would be a thing to say. But if I ever make it, it'll be because of the mustache. That'll be why. It's the stripes on the Yankees uniform, you know. It's the eye of the tiger or the stripes of the tiger. It's the whiskers of the tiger. It's an important component of some macrofauna yet to be determined, and I've got it. I originally started wearing it because I thought it would be funny, and let me be clear, I still do. I think this mustache is hilarious. My hair looks like a baby. Yes, you don't know how right you are. I had a haircut much like this whenever I was a child. But, you know, I get the haircut done for affordable rates. I don't complain. That guy doesn't take criticism well anyway. Here, we can walk back and forth into the biomes to hear the rain. Yeah, so we'll stand here because we actually don't want to plant here on the forest, but I absolutely do want to hear the rain. Alright, we're not supposed to plant too far into the forest. That is the arrangement with the Elder. I feel so bad for the Elder. We're like, yeah, you're tired of the farming life? Tell you what, go out to the island of scholars. You don't have to worry about farms anymore. The farm won't be in the room with you. The farm won't be able to see you. The farm won't intimidate you. And now look at him. He's just right over there. And look at the field of wheat. You know, it's getting there. Still need more. Obviously, there's not nearly enough. But yeah, alright. So we need to do this band all the way up this side there. Need to quit moving forward until we get this side taken care of. Yeah, I need to get more cherry trees for a couple of the ridges. Cherry trees, very important for my aesthetic. You know, I agree. It never gets old. I constantly amuse myself by how fun it is to imagine a person seeing it for the first time. Angelo, I think, just saw it for the first time yesterday, which must have been a thrilling event. Oh, I got to do the whole reveal where I'm like, so we're going to show you how big the field is. And then I imagine he was like, oh, this is the weirdest guy in the world. Oh, it's such a good field. I'm just playing. But it's still nice. So nice. All right. We need to, yeah, we just need to continue on this band here. You say you like planning forests? Nice. Yeah, there's this one island where it's a big, it's a biome. It's not really an island. I think of it as an island because I only go to one side of it. I'm sure it's an island eventually. Yeah, I have a giant tree. Forest top of the Hobbit Hole, nice, yeah. Whenever I discovered this, because it was like the spruce trees, like those over there that we've got, that's like a little lumber yard there. I'm probably gonna die. Nope. All right, down to 3 yards. I was like, whenever I fell, I thought I was closer to the ground. Planted lots of flowers and brought bees to the Euro forest that you built on the Hobbit house. I like that. That sounds amazing. A nice, cozy little place. Yeah, on my island of giant trees, I found a ruin, and then I sort of clumsily excavated it. Which, I kind of want to go there now. The stream says mostly wheat, though. No, I actually think one of my last videos, yeah, Terracotta Museum, that would have been it, yeah, so. We've been there not too long ago. It would have been 2 months. But the very calming thing about doing this as a stream is sometimes I'm like, have I actually been playing the game? But I have, like I've been doing everything I needed to do just by virtue of my training, like I don't want to say I'm a master, but I'm a journeyman at this point. Have I done this? Probably not 200,000 yet. I do love the stats. Alright, yes. We have used 169,020 wheat seeds. And picked up 192k. But we'll just want to bash down this flattened spot here. And then it'll be much easier to plant. You never want to, like, be going through a place that still is heavily grassed when you're planting. It really messes with the efficiency. You can just sort of swirl around like so, get it knocked down, and then clearly you don't want a little outlier like that getting in the way of your beautiful straight lines. And then you made a herdy farm? Nice. Yeah, one of the regular viewers, Natasha, they're a redstone player, they say. I don't have much of a mind for it. No, I don't look anything up, so, I don't take advantage of the resources available. Plus, you'll be familiar from watching Terraria. I'll give up on something like so quick, depending on, the day and my mood. So, sometimes, it wouldn't matter even if I was looking at a tutorial. I'd be like, you know what, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to do it. but you're not watching for my emotional maturity. You're not. I know you're not. Don't tell me you are, because I'm not going to sit here and let you lie to me and say that you're here because I seem like I am a well put together person. You're here for the wheat, and we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the wheat because, well, we're getting to the end of the stream. It's about my bedtime, although I can fudge it a little bit more on the end of my work week. But we'll just take a look around in case nobody's seen it all yet. But you know, it's going wonderfully, because even this little wheat field here, just this tiny little fraction of a little tiny wheat field, is respectable. Like, if I told you I planted a lot of wheat and I showed you that, I mean, you wouldn't be impressed. You wouldn't. You'd say, that guy, he's got wheat. But, you know, it's when you turn and you're like, okay, that's good. But I really think that when you go around this side of the mountain, because this is what it's about here, is the turn. It's about the tension between expectation and reality. You're like, okay, well, it's not entirely made of wheat. And then you go to the here, you're like, see, okay, yeah, a reasonable guy, totally normal. And you're like, wait, is there a lot on this mountain? And then you're like, oh, thank goodness, just a normal amount of wheat. Then you get to this side of the mountain and you're like, hey, this is actually inspiring. This dude might be a little bit of a genius. Like, maybe he understands something about happiness that I don't. I don't, by the way. That's not true. But when you look at all of this wheat, you gotta have the feeling that I know something. And what I really know is that wheat's great. And I wanted to thank all of you for watching and listening. I really hope you've enjoyed this tour around Wheat Park, around Wheatopia. And there in the distance, we see the expansion. It's going so well. The wheat is forever. It's not corruption. It's good for the planet, or at least for the Minecraft world. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed. And if you hang around sometime in the next 24 hours, I will be around here too. I just got to get some sleep first. So see you guys.